Time is the only true currency of life. You can spend it wisely or carelessly, but once it is gone, it can never return. You can recover from a financial loss, rebuild after failure, or mend a broken heart, but you will never reclaim a single wasted moment. Time is the silent treasure most people ignore until it slips through their fingers. Every second that passes is not just a number on a clock. It is a piece of your life you can never hold again. Yet people treat time as if it were infinite, as if there will always be another chance, another day, another opportunity. They live as though the clock will stop for them, but it never does. Every heartbeat is a reminder that your time is moving forward whether you use it or not. The tragedy of most lives is not that people die too soon, but that they wait too long to start living. They wait for the perfect moment, the right conditions, the approval of others. They tell themselves they'll begin tomorrow, but tomorrow never truly arrives. It only becomes another today lost to hesitation. People waste their lives not because they mean to, but because they never realize how precious each moment truly is until it's gone. They confuse being busy with being alive, filling their days with distractions that lead nowhere. But time does not care about activity, it only rewards purpose. The hours you spend scrolling through meaningless noise or worrying about things beyond your control are hours you'll never get back. You are not just losing time, you are losing fragments of your existence. You came into this world with nothing but time and the ability to choose how to use it. That is your greatest gift and your greatest responsibility. The difference between a fulfilled life and a wasted one lies in how you choose to spend this currency. Some people spend their time building, creating, learning, loving, and growing. Others spend it doubting, complaining, envying, and waiting. The same 24 hours are given to both, but the value they receive is completely different. The person who treasures time understands that every day is an investment, an opportunity to become more, to give more, to live more fully. The person who wastes time believes they have plenty of it, and so they let it slip away in small, unnoticed ways. If you could truly see how fast time moves, you would stop taking it for granted. You would stop postponing your dreams and start acting on them. You would stop saying, someday, and realize that someday is now. You would understand that the people you love will not always be here, that your health will not always be the same, that your opportunities will not always wait for you to be ready. The moments you have right now are more valuable than all the money in the world because they are limited. Once they pass, they are gone forever. That is why the richest person in the world cannot buy back a single minute. The true wealth of life is not measured in possessions, but in how you spend your hours. People often say they want more time, but what they really need is more awareness of the time they already have. You don't need more hours in a day. You need to stop wasting the ones you already have on things that don't matter. The problem is not the lack of time. It's the lack of direction. When you don't know where you're going, every minute feels meaningless. But when you have purpose, even 5 minutes becomes powerful. A focused life feels longer than a distracted one because it is lived with intention. Every moment you live with awareness becomes infinite in meaning. Think about how fragile life is. One day, everything you take for granted, the sunrise, the laughter of someone you love, the chance to start again, will be gone. One day, time will stop for you. The question is not if, but when. And when that moment comes, you will not regret the chances you took, the love you gave, the effort you made. You will only regret the time you wasted, the words you never spoke, the risks you never took, the days you lived half awake. Life does not ask for perfection, only for participation. But too many people are spectators in their own existence, watching time pass instead of shaping it. Every second that ticks away is asking you a silent question. What are you doing with me? Time is either your greatest ally or your quietest enemy. It will either work for you or against you, depending on how you use it. If you spend your time on growth, you expand. If you spend it on fear, you shrink. Time will not wait for your readiness. It will not pause while you find the courage to begin. It will move forward whether you act or not. And one day, you will look back and realize that the moments you feared to use were the moments that could have changed everything. When you start to respect time, life begins to open. You stop wasting your days on things that drain your spirit. You stop letting people steal your energy. You stop saying yes to distractions and start saying yes to your destiny. Respecting time means respecting yourself. It means deciding that your life is too precious to be lived halfway. It means waking up each morning with the awareness that you are holding a day you will never see again, and choosing to make it count. Time is not your enemy, it is your mirror. It reflects what you value most. If you value comfort, your time will show it. If you value growth, your time will reveal it. If you value purpose, your time will become proof of it. The secret of life is not to find more time, but to give meaning to the time you already have. The moments you treat with intention multiply in value. The ones you neglect vanish like smoke. Every breath is a reminder. This is your time, your moment, your life. Don't waste it waiting for a better one. Because there is no better time to live than right now, and there is no greater loss than the time you never truly lived. Purpose gives life its fire. Without it, the days blur together like pages in a book that no one will ever read. A life without purpose feels like drifting on a calm sea with no direction, motion without meaning, movement without destination. You wake up, you go through the motions, you fill your hours with noise and obligation, but deep inside, there is a quiet ache that something important is missing. That ache is the whisper of your soul asking you to remember why you were born. The greatest tragedy in this world is not death. It is a life lived without purpose, a life spent chasing everything that glitters and ignoring what truly shines within. When you have purpose, every day has meaning. Even your struggles make sense. The pain, the challenges, the disappointments, they all begin to serve you instead of break you. Purpose transforms obstacles into teachers and failures into lessons. Without purpose, life feels like punishment. With purpose, it becomes preparation. The storms that once scared you become winds that push you forward. The long nights that once filled you with despair become the quiet hours where your vision is forged. When you know why you are doing something, you find a way to keep going even when it hurts. That is what purpose does. It gives endurance to the heart when the body feels weak. People spend their lives looking for happiness, but happiness is not something you chase. It is something that grows naturally when you live with purpose. When you wake each morning knowing that your actions matter, that your life contributes something real, you begin to experience a deep joy that no temporary pleasure can replace. Purpose gives you peace because it tells you that your existence is not random. You were not born just to exist, to pay bills, to grow old and disappear. You were born to create, to serve, to build something that remains after you're gone. And when you live that truth, you no longer need validation from the world, because the flame inside you burns brighter than any applause could ever provide. Purpose is not always loud or glamorous. It doesn't always show up as fame or fortune. Sometimes purpose is quiet. It might look like raising a child with love, helping a stranger without expecting thanks, or waking up every morning to keep trying even when life feels heavy. Purpose is not about what the world sees. It's about what your soul knows. It's the thing that makes you feel alive, the reason your heart beats faster when you think about it. And it doesn't matter how small it seems, because when something is done with purpose, it grows beyond measure. A seed planted with intention will one day become a tree that gives shade to those who never saw it planted. Most people wander through life searching for meaning in the wrong places. They think purpose is something they must find in the world, a job, a relationship, a title. But purpose is not out there. It is inside you, waiting to be remembered. It is the dream that never left you, the desire that still stirs when you think no one is watching. The world tries to silence that voice by telling you to be practical, to be realistic, to follow what's safe. But purpose is never safe. It demands courage. It asks you to let go of comfort, to risk failure, to walk paths others are too afraid to take. Yet those who answer that call are the ones who truly live. When you live with purpose, time no longer feels wasted. Every action becomes meaningful because it connects to something greater than yourself. Even the smallest effort contributes to a larger design. The tiredness you feel becomes noble because it serves a dream. The discipline you keep becomes sacred because it moves you closer to your destiny. With purpose, you stop counting days and start making days count. You begin to see that the ordinary moments are not empty, they are the building blocks of something eternal. Purpose gives direction to your energy, and energy with direction becomes power. The beauty of purpose is that it transforms even pain into progress. When you are connected to your why, setbacks can't destroy you. They only deepen your strength. Every disappointment becomes a test that refines your vision. Every heartbreak teaches you compassion. Every loss reminds you of what truly matters. Purpose gives meaning to suffering, and meaning makes you unstoppable. The people who accomplish great things are not the ones who never fall, they are the ones who never forget why they stand up again. If you live without purpose, even success will feel empty. You can have wealth, recognition, and comfort, but still wake up feeling lost, because the soul does not thrive on achievements, it thrives on meaning. A life without purpose will always seek something more, no matter how much it has. But a life with purpose can feel fulfilled even in simplicity, because every breath feels aligned with destiny. When your actions match your soul's desire, you experience harmony that nothing external can give. There will be days when you doubt your purpose, when the road feels too long, when the flame inside seems to flicker. But remember, the fire of purpose never truly dies. It may dim, but it never disappears. It waits for you to feed it again with courage, with belief, with action. And when you do, it will burn stronger than ever. The greatest gift you can give yourself is to live with intention, to wake up and ask, "Why am I here?" and to spend your days answering that question through your actions. Because a life with purpose is not measured in years, but in impact. You can live a short life that echoes for generations if it was lived with meaning. Purpose is not something you find once. It is something you choose every single day. Every decision, every sacrifice, every act of love becomes part of that choice. The fire of purpose will light your way through darkness. It will guide you through uncertainty, and it will remind you that as long as you are alive, your life still has time to burn with meaning. Comfort is the silent killer of potential. It feels warm, safe, familiar, like a soft blanket that wraps around you and whispers that you've done enough, that you can rest a little longer, that tomorrow will be a better time to start. But comfort is not your friend. It's the quiet thief that steals your drive, your hunger, your passion. It convinces you that stability is success, that stillness is peace, that avoiding pain means living wisely. Yet the truth is the opposite. Growth is never born from comfort. Every dream that ever changed the world was built by someone who was willing to step into discomfort and endure the uncertainty that others avoided. Comfort is not peace. It is slow death. It numbs you while pretending to protect you. Every time you choose comfort over effort, you trade a piece of your future for a moment of ease. You might not feel the loss immediately, but it accumulates quietly. A missed opportunity here, a delayed decision there, another day of procrastination that turns into a month, then a year, and one morning you wake up and realize that life has moved on without you. The dream that once burned in your chest feels like a distant echo, the spark of ambition replaced by the dull weight of regret. That is what comfort does. It doesn't destroy you all at once. It dissolves you slowly. It teaches you to settle for less than you're capable of. It rewards you with temporary pleasure while robbing you of long-term fulfillment. People often confuse comfort with happiness, but they are not the same. Happiness expands your soul, comfort shrinks it. Happiness comes from progress, from seeing yourself evolve, from conquering the limits you once thought were unbreakable. Comfort, on the other hand, keeps you exactly where you are, making you afraid to move, to risk, to change. It creates an illusion of safety, but there is no safety in stagnation. The world moves forward whether you do or not. The person who refuses to grow becomes a shadow in their own life, watching others achieve what they were too afraid to reach for. Comfort feeds fear. The more you cling to it, the more terrified you become of losing it. It trains your mind to choose avoidance over action, to seek excuses instead of solutions. You start saying, "I'll try later. I'm not ready. I need more time." But deep down you know that later never comes. There is no perfect moment to begin. There is only now, the moment that feels uncomfortable, uncertain, and inconvenient. That is the doorway to change. The people who transform their lives are not the ones who wait for the right feeling. They are the ones who act despite the wrong one. They use discomfort as a compass pointing toward growth. Think of every great thing you've ever accomplished. It didn't come from ease. It came from stretching yourself beyond what you thought possible. It came from showing up when you were tired, trying again after failure, facing fear instead of running from it. Discomfort is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is proof that you are alive, that you are pushing your boundaries, that you are evolving. The butterfly does not emerge from the cocoon in comfort. It struggles, it fights, it breaks through. Without that struggle, its wings would never gain strength. Your potential works the same way. Without resistance, you can never rise. Comfort disguises itself as kindness. It tells you to rest because you deserve it. It tells you not to push too hard because life is already difficult. But there is a difference between resting and quitting, between self-care and self-sabotage. Rest is temporary, comfort is addictive. It lulls you into thinking you're fine where you are, that growth can wait. But growth never waits. The moment you stop reaching, you start fading. The universe rewards motion, not hesitation. Those who dare to step out of their comfort zone discover parts of themselves they never knew existed. They find strength in struggle, clarity in chaos, and courage in uncertainty. Most people never realize how much they are capable of because they never allow themselves to be uncomfortable long enough to find out. They give up at the first sign of difficulty, not realizing that the discomfort they run from is the very thing that would transform them. If you can learn to sit with discomfort, to endure it, to even welcome it, you will separate yourself from the masses, because very few are willing to endure the tension between where they are and where they want to be. Yet that tension is where transformation happens. The pressure you feel when life stretches you is not punishment, it is preparation. Comfort offers you a quiet life, but purpose demands a loud one. You cannot serve both. One will make you content for a moment, the other will make you fulfilled for a lifetime. Comfort will tell you to settle, purpose will tell you to rise. Comfort will make you fear failure, purpose will make you embrace it as part of the process. Comfort will keep your hands clean, purpose will make you get them dirty building something real. The choice between them happens every day, in your routines, your habits, your decisions. Every time you choose the easy route, you strengthen comfort's grip. Every time you choose the hard one, you weaken it. One day, you will look back on your life, and the only thing that will matter is whether you truly lived it. Not whether it was comfortable, but whether it was meaningful. The moments that define you will not be the ones where everything was easy. They will be the ones where you dared to do something that scared you, where you faced uncertainty and still chose to move forward. Comfort never creates memories worth keeping. It never builds legacies worth leaving. It only creates quiet regret. So dare to be uncomfortable. Dare to chase the dreams that stretch you. Dare to live in the fire of effort rather than the fog of ease. Because comfort might feel safe, but safety was never the purpose of life. Growth was. Discipline is the art of respecting your time. It is not punishment. It is reverence for the life you've been given. Every moment you have is a fragment of eternity, a chance to build something meaningful, and discipline is how you prove that you understand its value. People think discipline is about control or rigidity, but it is really about love, love for your dreams, love for your potential, love for the limited days you have on this earth. When you are disciplined, you are telling the universe that you refuse to waste your time, that you see your life as sacred. You are choosing structure not because it is easy, but because without it, purpose slips through your fingers. Most people treat time as if it were endless. They let the hours drift away on distractions, small comforts, and meaningless habits. They say they will start tomorrow. They say they will do better next week, but tomorrow and next week are illusions. The only time that ever exists is now, and discipline is the decision to use this moment fully. Without it, your life becomes accidental. You drift, you react. You wait for motivation that never stays long enough to make a difference. But when you live with discipline, you no longer need motivation. You move because you said you would, because your word to yourself matters more than how you feel. That is what separates the dreamer from the achiever. One waits for the right mood, the other moves despite the wrong one. Discipline teaches you that freedom does not come from doing whatever you want, it comes from mastering what you must. The mind wants comfort, but comfort wastes time. The body wants ease, but ease dulls strength. The heart wants reassurance, but reassurance delays growth. Discipline doesn't silence these desires. It simply tells them they cannot rule your life. It builds a quiet strength inside you, a steady rhythm that carries you forward when your emotions try to hold you back. When you become disciplined, you are no longer a prisoner of your impulses. You are the sculptor of your days, shaping them deliberately instead of letting them erode through inaction. Every great person you admire learned the same lesson. Discipline is not about talent, it is about consistency. The most gifted minds in history would have accomplished nothing without the structure to sustain their vision. Talent might open the door, but discipline is what keeps it open. It is what turns potential into legacy. Each act of discipline, every early morning, every focused hour, every sacrifice made in silence, builds an invisible foundation under your success. No one sees it while it's being built, but one day they see the results and call it luck. Yet luck has nothing to do with it. It was discipline all along, stacking one intentional choice upon another until greatness became inevitable. When you discipline your habits, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You stop blaming circumstances and start managing your response. You stop living in reaction and start living in intention. Discipline gives you control over the one thing that truly belongs to you, your time. Because every minute spent on distractions is a minute stolen from your destiny. The world will constantly try to pull your attention in 1,000 directions, but discipline allows you to say no to what doesn't matter so you can say yes to what does. Discipline is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't seek applause. It is built in moments no one else sees. When you choose work over comfort, focus over distraction, patience over impulse, it lives in the silence of early mornings and the stillness of late nights. It doesn't need recognition because the reward is internal. It's the peace of knowing you're living in alignment with your purpose. It's the pride of keeping your promises to yourself. It's the confidence that comes from knowing your progress is not accidental. Discipline gives you a kind of dignity that no external success can match because it is earned from within. There will be times when discipline feels heavy, when you are tired of the repetition, when your progress feels invisible. Those are the moments that test whether your commitment is real. Anyone can be consistent when results come quickly, but true discipline shows itself when there is no reward in sight. When you persist through those stretches of silence, you build something unbreakable, self-trust. You begin to understand that you can rely on yourself no matter how hard things get. That kind of strength can't be bought. It can only be built through the daily practice of doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Without discipline, dreams decay. Ideas fade. Potential remains unfulfilled. You may have the vision, but without the discipline to bring it to life, it will stay locked inside you, haunting you with what could have been. Discipline is the bridge between imagination and reality. It is the price you pay for a life that matters. And while that price is high, the cost of not paying it is far greater. Because the pain of discipline lasts only while you're building. The pain of regret lasts for a lifetime. Think of discipline as a form of respect, not just for your time, but for the people who believed in you, for the opportunities you've been given, for the gift of simply being alive. Every time you honor your commitment, you honor the life that has been entrusted to you. You prove that you are not wasting the chance you've been given. Discipline is gratitude in motion. It says, I value my time too much to waste it on things that don't serve me, and that kind of gratitude transforms your entire existence. The truth is, time is moving whether you act or not. Each day that passes is a day closer to the end of your story. Discipline is the only way to make sure that story is worth reading. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to do what matters consistently, because one disciplined hour today can save you years of regret tomorrow. Discipline is not about forcing your life into order. It's about shaping your life with intention. It's about taking the fleeting gift of time and turning it into something eternal. Your mind creates the meaning of your days. Two people can live the same life, walk through the same storms, face the same obstacles, and yet one will find purpose while the other only sees pain. The difference is not in their circumstances, but in their perception. The power to define your experience lies not in what happens to you, but in how you choose to interpret it. Your mind is the lens through which life is seen, and if that lens is clouded by fear, doubt, or resentment, everything before you will appear dim. But when your mind is guided by gratitude, hope, and faith, even the darkest moments hold light. You are not the victim of your days. You are their creator. Each thought you allow into your mind shapes the world you live in. When your thoughts are small, your life feels small. When your thoughts are full of limitations, your world becomes narrow and heavy. But when your mind dares to see possibility, your entire reality expands. The difference between a life of joy and a life of misery often comes down to one decision. The decision to take control of your thoughts instead of letting them control you. The mind is a garden. What you plant will grow. If you plant doubt, you will harvest hesitation. If you plant belief, you will harvest action. The weeds of negativity will grow on their own if you let them, but the flowers of faith require daily care. So many people waste their lives fighting battles that exist only in their minds. They replay old mistakes, carry invisible fears, and anticipate failures that haven't even happened. They create suffering long before life ever gives them a reason to suffer. They think they are reacting to reality, but in truth, they are reacting to their own imagination. The mind can be both your best ally and your worst enemy. It can build the future you dream of or destroy it before it begins. That is why learning to organize and direct your thoughts is the highest form of self-mastery. You cannot control the world, but you can always control how you think about it. When you begin to choose your thoughts intentionally, life begins to transform quietly. The same challenges appear, but they no longer paralyze you. The same people may doubt you, but they no longer define you. The same setbacks may come, but they no longer break you. Because your mind has learned to ask different questions. Instead of, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of seeing obstacles as signs to stop, you start seeing them as steps to rise. When your thoughts change, your emotions follow, and your emotions fuel your actions. It all begins with one simple truth. Your mind decides what your life becomes. If you allow your thoughts to drift aimlessly, they will take you to places you never meant to go. The undisciplined mind seeks comfort in complaints, finds safety in excuses, and finds identity in struggle. But a focused mind seeks meaning, takes responsibility, and builds momentum. Each morning, your first thought sets the tone for your day. If you begin with doubt, your day will mirror it. If you begin with intention, your day will bend to your will. The world doesn't shape your day, your mind does. And when you realize that, you stop blaming the world for your unhappiness. You stop waiting for luck, for permission, for the right moment. You begin to understand that the power to change your life was never outside you. It was within your thoughts all along. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, because suffering is born from the meaning you give to pain. When you believe your pain is punishment, it breaks you. When you believe it's preparation, it builds you. Life will always bring both light and shadow, but your mind decides which one you focus on. There are people who have nothing and feel rich, and people who have everything and feel empty. The difference is not in possession, but in perception. When your mind learns to see blessings even in difficulty, you become untouchable by despair. The world can take much from you, but it can never take the meaning you assign to what happens. Your thoughts not only define your experiences, but attract similar energy. When you dwell on failure, you draw more reasons to fail. When you dwell on gratitude, you draw more reasons to be thankful. The energy you send into the world through your thoughts shapes the reality that returns to you. This is not magic, it is focus. The mind magnifies what it looks at. Focus on fear, and fear grows larger. Focus on possibility, and new paths appear. You do not get what you wish for. You get what you continually think about. The universe listens to the language of your thoughts, not your excuses. If you want to stop wasting your life, stop wasting your mind. Stop letting it wander through meaningless worry. Stop feeding it doubt and expecting confidence to grow. Your mind is like a powerful instrument. It will play whatever tune you choose. If you keep playing the melody of regret, you will never hear the song of purpose. Train your mind to work for you, not against you. When it drifts toward negativity, gently bring it back. When it focuses on fear, replace that thought with one of courage. Each time you do this, you are rewriting the script of your life. You must also understand that your mind will resist at first. It will fight to return to old habits because that is where it feels safe. It will whisper lies that you are not strong enough, not smart enough, not ready enough. But the mind is a servant, not a master. It becomes what you teach it to become. The same mind that once convinced you to give up can become the one that pushes you to rise again. It just needs direction, consistency, and patience. The moment you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your destiny. You begin to see that no day is wasted if you live it with awareness. Even a difficult day can become a step toward greatness if your mind is trained to see its purpose. You cannot always change what happens to you, but you can always change what it means. That power is what separates the fulfilled from the frustrated, the grateful from the bitter, the alive from the merely existing. Your mind holds the keys to every door in your life. When you learn to direct it, nothing outside you can truly destroy you, because meaning, real, lasting meaning, is always created within. You were born to create, not to consume. The world around you is filled with noise, endless streams of information, entertainment, distraction, all designed to keep you passive, to keep you watching instead of building, scrolling instead of thinking, comparing instead of creating. Every second you spend lost in that noise, you give away a piece of your power. You were not meant to live as a spectator in your own existence. You were meant to shape it, to mold it, to breathe life into ideas that never existed before you. Creation is the proof of life. Consumption is survival, creation is expression. And deep within every person lies that spark, that hunger to build something meaningful. A dream, a vision, a legacy. But most bury it beneath the comfort of consumption because it's easier to admire than to act, easier to follow than to lead, easier to copy than to create. When you create, you connect to something divine inside yourself. You stop being a bystander and start being a force. Creation is not limited to art or invention. It is the act of bringing something new into existence that didn't exist before your effort. It could be writing a book, building a business, raising a family with love, teaching others what you've learned, or even crafting a better version of yourself each day. Creation is expansion. It's the soul's way of saying, I am alive. But the modern world does everything it can to dull that voice. It teaches you to consume endlessly, products, opinions, attention, so that you forget that your own mind is capable of producing something far more powerful. Consumption feels good in the moment, but it leaves you empty afterward. It fills your time but not your heart. The satisfaction fades quickly because it doesn't challenge you to grow. Creation, on the other hand, demands energy, patience, and courage. It asks you to face the unknown, to risk failure, to expose a part of yourself that others might judge. That's why so many avoid it. It's easier to hide behind what others have made than to stand before the world with something that is truly yours. But in that act of vulnerability, in creating even imperfectly, you find the deepest fulfillment a human being can experience. You find purpose. The danger of a life spent only consuming is that it dulls your ability to think for yourself. When you constantly absorb what others produce, you begin to mirror their ideas, their opinions, their emotions. You lose your original voice without even noticing. Your mind becomes a reflection of what you watch, what you read, what you follow, and soon you no longer know which thoughts are truly yours. That is the quiet tragedy of our time, a world full of people who know everything about others but nothing about themselves. Creation reverses that. When you create, you listen inwardly. You begin to rediscover your own perspective, your own rhythm, your own truth. Every act of creation, no matter how small, is an act of rebellion against mediocrity. It says, I will not just consume what the world gives me. I will add something of my own. You don't need to be extraordinary to create something meaningful. You just need to be sincere. The power of creation lies in authenticity, not perfection. A small poem written from the heart can touch more lives than 1,000 borrowed ideas shouted into the void. What matters is not the scale of what you create, but the honesty within it. The world does not need more perfection. It needs more truth, and truth can only be born through creation. There is a unique kind of joy that comes from building something with your own hands, your own mind, your own will. It may not be easy, but it's pure. The exhaustion after a day spent creating is sacred because it's the exhaustion of purpose. It's different from the numb fatigue that comes from endless consumption. When you consume, you drain yourself. When you create, you renew yourself. Creation gives back energy because it aligns you with growth. It reminds you that you are capable of shaping reality, that you are not just here to witness life, but to contribute to it. If you want to feel alive, stop asking what the world can give you and start asking what you can give the world. The people who live fully are the ones who turn their pain into purpose, their lessons into guidance, their imagination into form. They take what life gives them, joy, loss, struggle, love, and transform it into something that lasts. Creation is how you turn suffering into wisdom, chaos into clarity, and dreams into reality. It is the alchemy of the soul. Do not wait for permission to create. The world will always try to tell you that you're not ready, not talented enough, not capable enough, but those are the words of consumers who never tried. The truth is, you become ready by beginning. Every masterpiece was once a rough draft. Every success was once a series of failures that someone refused to let define them. Creation is not about doing it perfectly, it's about doing it consistently. Each act of creation, no matter how small, strengthens your courage. Each moment you choose to create instead of consume, you reclaim a piece of your power. Life rewards those who give more than they take. The universe expands through creation, and when you contribute to that expansion, it conspires in your favor. The more you give, the more you grow. The more you build, the more you become. There is a quiet dignity in creation. It doesn't demand applause, it doesn't beg for recognition. It stands as proof that you used your time well. that you didn't waste your life waiting to be entertained, that you dared to express something real. Every breath you take is an opportunity to create something that didn't exist before. It could be a word, an idea, a change, a moment of kindness. Every act of creation ripples beyond what you can see. The seed you plant today may grow into something that outlives you. That is how you become eternal, not by how much you consumed, but by what you contributed. The world does not remember the watchers, it remembers the builders. You were born with the same creative energy that shaped the stars, the same spark that turns thoughts into worlds. That spark still burns within you, waiting to be used. Don't let it die in silence. Don't waste your time repeating what has already been done. Take the raw material of your life, your joy, your pain, your hope, your struggle, and turn it into something that breathes. Because creation is not just what you do, it's who you are.